Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm so excited to introduce the guests for today's chat because we've got the incredible directors of Gateway Festival joining us. If you missed their event last time, Gateway made a huge splash with its debut, and now it's back in 2025 for round two at the beautiful Heide Museum Sculpture Park. It's such a special spot surrounded by art and nature, and honestly, the perfect backdrop for this creative, community-centric festival. Today, we're going to dive into what's new this year, the inspiration behind it all, and what makes Gateway such a standout on Melbourne's festival calendar. Welcome to Area 3000. My name is Cindy, and thank you for listening.
All right, so I'm here with the minds behind Gateway Festival directors, Matt, Charlotte, and Mitchell. Is it Mitch or Mitchell? Because every time I go to write an email, I see that you sign off with Mitchell, and so I think once I called you Mitch, and I was like, oh, does he like Mitch or Mitchell? You never know. I don't want to offend anyone. Okay. So I might start that again. Thank you for joining me today. We're here in the atrium at Revolver Lane, and we're going to get a little bit of insight into Gateway Festival and what we can expect this year. Gateway Festival hosts its second edition at the Heide Museum and Sculpture Park on December the 6th. So that's coming up in a few weeks' time. Yeah. Yes, very exciting and no doubt very like what's going on for all of you. Let's rewind a little bit though. Can you take me back to the moment that you decided to start Gateway? How did it all begin?
We've been running club events and club nights for quite a while and wanted to just grow out of that. I've been looking at spaces for quite a while as well, and came across Heide, and we just fell in love with the place. Took these two there, and as soon as we walked around, we're like, yes, we have to do something there. So that's kind of how it kind of conceptualized. And then, we've always wanted to run. We've been to so many festivals and as punters and so many big events just to have fun. But always wanted to do something by ourselves, but also do it as if we were doing it for ourselves as well, to make it the best possible event for what we'd want when we're attending an event. So that's kind of where it came from. Expand
on that. What was your vision, or what did you want from your event?
Just kind of creating the ultimate punter experience from a beginning as a punter, rather than looking at it from what other people might want. It's what would we want? What's ideas that we've always thought oh, that festival would be good if it just had this. So being able to implement that and just all small details, no matter what, try and just make sure they're perfect and can create the best day for the punter and then for the artist and everyone attending in general.
And describe the process of, you said you'd run events before. How did you transition from running a regular club night to then running a festival?
Lots and lots and lots of hours of planning and just backing ourselves, and also market research. As I said before, going to other people's events, seeing what they're doing, noting even from contractors people are using to stage designs, and just figuring what we would want and what we think would work best. And then just giving it a crack as well. The first year we didn't know what was going to happen, but we got pretty great feedback. So we're back for round two.
Back for round two. Okay. And what were perhaps some of the biggest lessons learned from year one into year two?
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely a lot of learning curves, and I think just doing everything on a much bigger scale was a bit of a challenge, but it worked quite well because we all like a challenge. And we certainly had lots of fires we were kind of having to put out on the day. You're managing lots of contractors, lots of artists, lots of people, council, police. But having to think about things on our feet and kind of solve it was actually quite fun. I say that now. On the day it was really, really stressful. But I mean, as soon as the event started, it was just so awesome to have something we were all really, really proud of. So we obviously, even though it was a lot of blood, sweat and tears, we loved it enough to do it again. So it was good.
I think a lot of we relieved a lot of on the day stress, I think, by just a lot of planning and sort of thought process, going through everything building up to it. No detail was sort of too small, and it was a safe space where if we thought something needed some attention or something consideration, then we would just throw it out there and we would all sort of work through it together from start to finish. And then I think we went into the day sort of quite confident, and then at times we were still very overwhelmed, but I think just coming out the other side of it has given us a lot of reassurance and confidence going into year 2.
Can you give us an example of something that went really haywire?
Don't get me started. Everything, like all the major things as far as like a customer or like punter experience went really smoothly from sound and everything like that. We had one big issue with our fences, and Mitch and I spent the first like 4 or 5 hours of that day like putting up these fences that kept blowing over in the wind. So that at least wasn't something that affected how the how the dancers were enjoying their day. But yeah, it took us a while to affect us. Yeah. And then that meant that Shah was just running around handling everything else by herself because Mitch and I were attending to that. Yeah. That was stressful, but
We had some good mates helping us.
yeah, I'd much rather it be that, and it's Mitch and I that's like, or us 3 that are affected rather than the people who have come there to enjoy the day. So
It's easily fixable for this year. We're going to.
Good to hear. How do you all cope with pressure? Do you have like different sort of personalities when it comes to dealing with things?
I rely on Mitch's spreadsheets, I reckon. Yeah, one of the most organized men I've ever met. So if you find yourself in a spot of bother, yeah, ask Mitch for some tips.
Noted. Okay. So tell us about the venue. What was the inspiration behind Heide? I know you mentioned that you went there for the first time, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, tell us more.
Yeah, I'll go quickly and then pass it your way. I think it ticks so many boxes for us. Just the fact that you have such lush, beautiful grounds, and they're so close to the city. I think that's just a rare opportunity that, you know, we felt the need to do something with. And then I think, you know, there's an opportunity there to try and add to the experience of what going to Heide is, rather than sort of trying to pull away from that. So even things like the stage design and just trying to tie that into the fact that it's a sculpture park and that it's set in like this beautiful lush landscape, rather than, you know, having that stage feel like it's a pop-up and something that would distract and pull you away from that experience. I think, yeah, this year in particular, I think I'm really looking forward for people to see our main stage design. I think it really ties in to the surroundings. Yeah, and we wanted it to feel like the stage could be set up there permanently, and so you're going to like it and yeah, to enjoy what Heide sort of has to offer, and then we can just try and add to that experience.
A lot of festivals claim to be that music and arts experience, and I guess yours is unique in that it is actually in an arts museum. So I think you definitely tick that box. Can you talk more about how I guess music and art are connected at Gateway? Like, does one influence the other more so, or do you just feel that it's sort of?
I would say for us, first and foremost, we all come from a far more sort of music orientated background than we do art. So I would say we sort of, at least in our programming, sort of leaned more heavily into like the music side of curation. But what we sort of enjoy about the art aspect and how that intertwines is how that can sort of affect your experience whilst listening to music. So I think our sort of crossover with art isn't so much in the way of like installations where it's like an artistic experience. It's in a way where that art changes and impacts how you experience or listen to music. So I think that's probably the approach we've taken at this stage. Perhaps maybe in the future we might sort of look to collaborate with more people and expand sort of on that direction. But at the moment, that's sort of how we've approached it.
Tell us about the lineup then. How do you go about curating the artists?
It's a lot of planning. We usually start at, we're usually thinking a year or two ahead. But yeah, with our programming, we try and not kind of box it into one particular genre. Like, it's quite a diverse range of artists across both years. And we kind of do that so it like appeals to a large range of people, but we want it to be the kind of festival where you can see a few artists on the lineup and you're like, yep, I'm going to go see them. And the other artists around those are ones you might not necessarily know, but there's enough of a common thread that you go and you end up kind of discovering someone new. So yeah, there's a lot of continuity, I guess, between all the stages and all the artists, even if like on paper they might not necessarily be ones you put together. So yeah, we put a lot of thought into how we program the stages and like what kind of identity we think that's going to have and how the transition will go from kind of start to finish across all the artists.
Yep. Yeah, one of our like virtues was to kind of like educate people as well on some artists that they may be familiar with or not so familiar with, and kind of get them dive deeper into them, which is kind of like one of the meanings behind Gateway, is like creating a gateway to new sounds and new artists, and new experiences through music.
And I think that sort of common thread that ties them all together is kind of like a deep connection to the craft. A lot of them are sort of deep diggers, and they sort of enjoy music in the same way. Sort of sounds that feel sort of familiar but fresh and new, and they all sort of like to push boundaries in a similar way. And I think hopefully we've curated a program where that sort of felt as a dancer from start to finish.
Yeah, great. A few questions can come off. A lot of that. First, going back to like brand virtues and intentions with Gateway, perhaps you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to put it into words because I feel like we've all spent a lot of years like promoting DJing and punting, and there's sometimes like a feeling behind a really good and special party that can be quite hard to describe. But I think Gateway came together so well because we were really able to. I think we managed last year to create that feeling, and that's a part. The music curation, the space, and I guess the attention to detail. But yeah, just being able to create, I guess, a whole environment where you can go out and have a really nice day, and the party is about your like journey from when you get there to when you finish, rather than the kind of event where you're just going to go and see one artist and that's kind of all it is. Like you come out and go, oh, that was like a really, really special to see that artist at that time in that setting with these kind of people around me. So yeah, I think our goal was just to try and emulate that kind of like special nature that parties can have. I don't know if anyone wants to add on that.
No, that's great. And are there any acts in particular that you're really excited about seeing?
Well, I think we all like all of them because we're guilty of throwing parties that we really, really want to go to. I think, this year particularly, I think I'm pretty keen to see some of the live acts we have. Like we've got Tinny and the gang doing a takeover on the main stage, which will be really, really fun. I think that's the first takeover she's done here. And Zap's doing a live set closing, which he hasn't done here before. So it's really nice to be able to get some like older heads like that to come and perform, but also mixing it up with some of the newer, funner artists that are really on the forefront at the moment. You guys?
Yeah, same.
We're all on the same page with a lot of stuff, which is good.
Heaps of time, like picking out who we really wanted. And there was a few artists that we had on our shortlist as well that we went for, we didn't quite get. And then so we had they were not backup options, but other like similar options, and we're pretty stoked with how it ended up in the end. And ones that we didn't achieve this time, we can definitely look forward to in future years.
Can you talk about scheduling the day? So I think before you mentioned a little bit about like making sure it flows nicely. Like how do you envision the day sort of panning out from a music perspective?
I think first of all, the three stages sort of have, I suppose, distinct differences. I think in the setting, but then also sort of, I suppose that influences how we curate that sound. I think all three stages, they sort of build up and progress sort of over the course of the day. But sort of how they do that from stage to stage is quite different, I suppose. The main stage in particular, I think, given that we have the few live acts that are in there as well, and then sort of Tinny playing an extended set later on. From where that starts to where it finishes, it should be quite the journey. So I'm particularly looking forward to that. And then our second stage, sort of nestled more amongst trees, gets a little bit heavier, a little bit wonkier in there. So I know that was a bit of a favorite for a lot of punters last year. Okay. So we could use that feedback and the experience that people had last year to try and sort of double down on that and give them what they want for this year too.
And what do you hope that people take away from the experience this year?
I think, like for me, and what I hope to come out of a party, it's just a feeling. It's like a nice to be reminded that when you listen to music in a certain way, in a certain sort of setting, then it can really be like quite inspirational and like transformative, and you can leave just feeling a little bit lighter than when you walked in. So if we can put something together that leaves people feeling like that afterwards, then I would say we've done a pretty good job.
Can you tell me about a time where you've experienced that?
A few times overseas, I would say, yeah. Shara and I went to Houghton Festival, and there was a couple there where me and Shara were just hugging on the dance floor every 20 minutes. And then we were just like a few, like, this is what it's all about moments. And I sort of went to Europe hoping to I wouldn't say rekindle, but just continue the flame of music within me. And I've come back like you have to drag me out of the studio shower saying, when are we going to hang out? And I was like, I'm making so much music at the moment. And I think it's all down to some of those experiences I've had while I was overseas. So looking forward to channeling that now into Gateway as well.
Amazing. What about you both?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, going to Europe also was like a nice reminder of some really good music experiences. I had a really great time at Houghton, and also at a lot of smaller parties as well. And I think, yeah, I mean, obviously it's so difficult to run really big scale events or even smaller ones, especially in Australia, I think, at the moment. So it was just really nice to kind of feel inspired and know that there's lots of pockets where these kind of things are happening. So yeah, I mean, I left a lot of those parties and was like, I'm getting straight into the studio, straight back into digging shoes, which is what you want. But it's really cool I found it really helpful to see how other people were making use of the settings and the environments in different spaces. And it really made me kind of think, okay, like how are they doing that? What are the kind of elements that make it really special? And how can we put it into Gateway? But yeah, it's nice that kind of having that drive has just made me like come home and go like headfirst back into the spreadsheets.
I love that.
I guess even before, like, we all went to Europe this year, but even before that, Gateway 1 existed, year 1, and that was like based off some previous experiences in Europe. So that's kind of leans into that. But also, I guess when you're fresh, you're 18, 19, 20, first start going out and you are introduced to like a club, like new clubs or new sounds, new spaces, it's very exciting. And like every week can be like pretty stimulating and pretty like rewarding, and learning quite a lot in like small amount of time. So the older you get, the less maybe like learning experiences or new things you've witnessed or feel can occur. So yeah, we're trying to like still, no matter what age you are, still like hoping that you walk away having that feeling from the day at Gateway.
Yeah, amazing. Just like reminding you of like a little kid inside kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. How do you think like festival culture differs from being over in Europe? You obviously took a lot of inspiration from being overseas. Is it just like the fact that you're overseas in a different country, or do you think there really is a big difference between what types of events are being thrown there versus here? And sorry for the loaded.
No, that's fine. I guess the first thing that just comes to mind is just scale. Like in Europe, during the festival season there's so many festivals happening, and they're all so big, and they all have massive lineups, and the talent pool's just there. Like it takes artists 24 hours to get here. So when they do come here, once every 2 or 3 years, it's A, special for them, so they want to put in the time for it, but it's B, special for the punters experiencing it as well. So you may have artists playing in Europe, festival sets over the whole season. They might get burnt out, or might kind of do run of the mill. You might see them play similar sets across different shows and different places. But coming to Australia, like we find a lot of the artists that we book, it's pretty special and unique, and they put a lot of time and effort into it, and it's rewarding for them, and also for us and the crowds that attend.
I guess as well, like even before we all went off to Europe, like Gateway was inspired by those kind of one-day European festivals that we maybe don't get quite as much here. I mean, Australia is like super well known for its bush stuffs and camping festivals, but there's not quite as many opportunities to have that kind of experience of being, I guess, in the bush or that kind of seclusion, but just for a day close to the city. So that was a big inspiration, and it's hard to do because there's not too many spaces. And yeah, not to harp on about that kind of like special party experience again, but yeah, just being able to create something really, really thoughtful. Yeah, it's just been awesome. I forgot what the question was.
That's perfect. What would you say, because we are gearing up for festival season and summertime in Melbourne and Australia, what would you say to people who are thinking, oh, should I go to Gateway or should I go to XYZ? What would you say to help convince them to come to Gateway?
Well, you just have to come and find out. Yeah, I mean, you know, why not, eh? But yeah, I think Gateway does offer something different. Like there's not as certainly like in our scenes. I don't know if there's any kind of one-day events like that, especially that are booking like the range of like local and international talent that we are, because yeah, it's really hard to get artists over here. We're a lot more removed. It's a lot more work. Yeah, I think it offers a really, really nice opportunity to have that kind of, I guess, European experience that's a lot easier to put on overseas when artists are local. But yeah, in our own backyard. Only 20 minutes away from the city, you know?
I think also what I love about Gateway, and it's something that we can offer, is there's so much space to enjoy music. Like you can really breathe and experience it sort of how you please. There's such sort of big open landscape with such like a beautiful backdrop, and you know, just given how vast like the space is, there's so much space to move. You can, if you want to chill out, you can go sit on the hill and look down at the stage. It's a really just go at your own pace day. And we sort of promote however you please to enjoy music. You've got that opportunity here.
Yeah, great. And long term, what is your vision for Gateway?
More days? Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much more days. Yeah, I think that would be great. Deck Mantle does that, Heide. Not five or like multi-day festival that's in such sort of close proximity. They don't so there's no sort of camping, that type of thing. That's right? Yeah. So there's a real opportunity for that, I think, in Melbourne. I think that would be unique. And I think it's what, 20 minutes from Collingwood. Yeah, so you can get a good night's sleep in your own bed and then come back and do it all again.
Sounds great. Yeah.
I think as well, like as everything's getting more expensive, like it's becoming a bit more of a mission to go to, like, you know, I love going to bush turfs, but you know, when your tickets are getting a bit more expensive and it's like $400 or $500 and you're kind of writing yourself off for like a whole weekend, being able to have something a bit more local where you can choose to just go for one day or hopefully two in the next few years that is a bit more affordable, just kind of keeps, yeah, we want to keep all these artists and these experiences accessible, I guess. So yeah, that's the goal long term.
I'll just add, the older you get, the less you want to, less you want to party, I guess, or less you want to go out, and also spending money and responsibilities and all the boring stuff. So I guess if Gateway becomes like the earmark in everyone's calendar that once a year we're going, that's like, I'm going to let my hair down at least once a year, it's going to be there. That would be great if we're the staple there.
Yeah. So take us through the day. I'm getting in the Uber to Gateway. What?
Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting in the Uber to Gateway. Hopefully it's a quick Uber to start. But we've also partnered. We partner with a lot of local food vendors every year. So we really try and get the community involved in other ways. And our bar is always supplied and run by Staple Liquor in Brunswick. So Josh, who runs that, is another friend of ours, and he sources a lot of like really local brews. But they're all pretty fresh and interesting, which is nice. The drinks are all fairly priced as well, nothing more than what we'd want to pay at a festival. Happy hour as well, yeah. You got to get down early. Yeah. 2 to 4. 2 to 4 this year.
Okay.
And yeah, this year as well, we've kind of expanded on our third stage. So that's more of a chill out area. And we've got a lot of really, really talented local artists there. And yeah, we also, the whole idea of the day is you don't have to worry about anything. Like you can just come and have fun. We've got free shuttle buses that run from the site afterwards, so you don't have to stress about lining up for an Uber, anything like that. Pretty much all the things that have happened to us at any kind of festival or party where we've been like, this sucks. We've thought about it and tried to fix it. So yeah, the shuttle buses will go to Northcote, straight to our after party as well.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah. Well, that'll be.
Okay.
You'll have to stay tuned, but it'll be a good one. Yeah. But yeah, pretty much from like when you purchase your ticket all the way from when your head hits the pillow, we've tried to think about every single step of that, I would say. Yep. Anything I missed?
Putting on a festival is obviously a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, right? Like,
yeah.
Why bother? Why do it?
It is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It was hard work, and I think if you quantified all the hours we put in every single week, like it's a full-time job all year. It's definitely, we don't do it for the money or anything. It's like it's for sure for the love. But I don't know. I found once we had year one done, just being able to. We had so much positive feedback from everyone, and even for like a few months after, there were people coming up to us being like, I saw you at Gateway, like thank you so much. I haven't had a day like that in ages. Like I just found it really, really heartwarming to hear people talk about their experience and the fact that it was like something memorable and something that really stuck out. Because for me, going out and listening to music and going to nightclubs when I was younger was such a formative experience, and like all my friendship groups now have come from that. So to be able to create a space where that's happening for other people just gives me the warm fuzzies all year. Like if it's getting hard, I just look at some of the reviews people left and I go, oh, that's really sick. So yeah, it's nice to think that we're making something that really sticks with people for more than just the day.
That was such a great chat. Thank you so much to the Gateway Festival directors, Matt, Charlotte, and Mitch, for joining me today and giving us a peek into what's coming up this year. Gateway Festival returns to the stunning Heide Museum Sculpture Park on December 6th. It's going to be an incredible day of art, music, and connection. And I'm pleased to share that as a member of Area 3000's community, you can grab discounted tickets now. Just check out the link in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you at Gateway.